Avery Lynn Howard was born on July 6, 1994, in Springfield, Missouri, to parents David Harris and Michelle Ward. Her early years were spent in Lexington, Kentucky, a city that played a pivotal role in shaping her into the vibrant, determined woman she would become. The blend of urban energy and natural beauty in Lexington gave Avery the grounding she needed to fuel her ambition and drive. From a young age, Avery exhibited a fierce sense of ambition and resilience, traits that would define her journey through life. She wasn't just known for her sharp mind, but for her ability to light up a room with her infectious energy, and for her refusal to settle for anything less than greatness. She graduated from Oakwood High School in 2012, a milestone that marked the beginning of her pursuit of a bright and fulfilling future, with no plans to let her dreams be anything less than extraordinary. Even as a teenager, Avery was already a force to be reckoned with, full of potential and charisma that drew people to her. As an adult, Avery discovered her passion for beauty and wellness, a field that allowed her to blend her creativity with her deep desire to help others feel confident and empowered. It was in this pursuit that Avery truly began to carve her niche. She trained to become a lash technician, specializing in eyelash extensions, quickly gaining a reputation for her meticulous attention to detail and her ability to make her clients feel like the best versions of themselves. What began as a personal interest soon blossomed into a thriving business. With an entrepreneurial spirit and an innate talent for connecting with people, Avery launched her own business, becoming self-employed and carving out her own space in the competitive beauty industry. She had a natural knack for creating relationships and cultivating loyalty, earning not only a clientele, but a group of followers who admired her authenticity. Her dedication to her craft and her unwavering commitment to excellence made her a recognized figure in her field, and success came to her as a result of the sheer passion she poured into her work. Avery's success wasn't confined to her professional life. She also built a significant presence on social media, particularly on TikTok, where she amassed over 200,000 followers. Her platform became a space for positivity, inspiration, and empowerment. Through her content, Avery shared her own personal journey of growth, offering advice on topics like spiritual development, self-coaching, and manifesting one's desires. She often spoke about overcoming life's obstacles and maintaining an optimistic outlook, even in the face of adversity. Her messages resonated deeply with her audience, many of whom found solace and motivation in her words. Avery's ability to connect with others on such a profound level was a testament to her authenticity, and it was clear that she was driven by a genuine desire to make a positive impact on the lives of those who followed her. She didn't just share her successes, but also her challenges, making her a beacon of hope for many who were navigating their own struggles. Avery's personal life was as dynamic and multifaceted as her career. She became a mother at a young age when her first daughter, Lily Harris, was born during her teenage years. Motherhood brought new challenges and responsibilities, but Avery embraced them with the same determination and grace that characterized every aspect of her life. She navigated the trials of young motherhood with courage, all the while continuing to chase her dreams. Later, after marrying Jacob Howard, the couple welcomed their son, Carter, into the world. Avery often shared glimpses of her family life on social media, crafting an image of a joyful, loving family. She and Jacob portrayed their marriage as a love story that had evolved from a strong friendship into a romantic partnership. Their videos often emphasized the importance of communication, forgiveness, and mutual growth within marriage, offering their followers a window into what they presented as a healthy, thriving relationship. It was a beautiful narrative of love, and to many, it was the ideal relationship. However, beneath the carefully curated online image, Avery and Jacob's marriage was far from perfect. They faced significant struggles, including periods of separation, financial instability, and personal battles with depression. Despite these challenges, Avery remained optimistic, framing their difficulties as opportunities for growth and deepening their bond. She was quick to remind herself and her audience that challenges weren't roadblocks but stepping stones. Yet, those closest to Avery knew that her marriage was fraught with tension and unresolved issues. Her friends often saw the cracks in the foundation long before the world did. Avery kept her struggles close to her heart, always striving to maintain the appearance of strength. Behind her smile, she carried the weight of her reality, a reality she only fully shared with a few trusted friends. Avery's childhood had also been marked by challenges that shaped her into the resilient woman she became. She often spoke about her experiences with homeschooling, which she described as a time of isolation and loneliness. These formative years played a crucial role in shaping Avery's character, instilling in her a deep sense of independence and a drive to create a life filled with connection and purpose. Her difficult childhood experiences fueled her passion for self-development and her desire to help others navigate their own struggles. Despite the hardships she faced, Avery emerged from her early years with a profound sense of empathy, and it was clear that her mission was to help others who felt as alone as she once did. Her story was one of survival, and now it was one of thriving. Avery refused to let her past define her. Instead, she used it as the foundation on which she built her bright future. As Avery's marriage to Jacob continued to deteriorate, she reached a breaking point. 2 weeks before the tragic events that led to her death, Avery expressed her intention to divorce Jacob. This was not the first time the couple had faced the possibility of ending their relationship. They had already experienced a 3-year separation, during which both Avery and Jacob had worked on themselves and their individual growth. However, this time, Avery seemed more determined than ever to move forward with the divorce. The decision marked a turning point in their relationship, one that would ultimately set the stage for the heartbreaking events that followed. Avery's decision was not made lightly, but it was one that she felt was necessary for her own growth and the well-being of her children. She had reached a point where staying in a broken relationship felt like a betrayal to herself and to the values she had built her life around. The history of Avery and Jacob's relationship was complicated and layered. They had started as friends, their bond growing stronger over time until they became best friends. Eventually, their friendship blossomed into a romantic relationship, and they often shared the belief that the foundation of a successful marriage lay in maintaining a strong friendship. They frequently spoke about the importance of communication, trust, and mutual respect, both in their private lives and in the content they shared online. However, behind the scenes, their relationship was far from the idealized version they presented to the world. They faced numerous challenges, including periods of separation, financial difficulties, and the emotional toll of battling depression together. Despite these struggles, they continued to portray their relationship as an example of how to overcome difficulties and strengthen a marriage. Yet, in the quiet moments, Avery felt the weight of their disconnect, and it became clear that their bond had fractured beyond repair. Avery's openness about her struggles with mental health and depression became a central part of her online presence. She shared her personal experiences with vulnerability and honesty, offering advice on how to cope with emotional turmoil and find hope in the darkest moments. Her willingness to speak openly about her own battles with depression made her a source of inspiration for many of her followers, who found comfort in her words and her unwavering optimism. Avery's message was clear. No matter how difficult life may seem, there is always a way forward, and it is possible to emerge stronger on the other side. She was the light in the darkness for many, a reminder that you could rise above your circumstances, even when it seemed impossible. As Avery prepared to leave Jacob, tensions in their marriage reached a breaking point. Her decision to divorce seemed final, and despite the couple's attempts to maintain an image of a harmonious separation, the cracks in their relationship were undeniable. In the days leading up to her death, Jacob began to show signs of understanding the seriousness of the situation. A week before Avery's passing, he pawned his wedding ring, a symbolic gesture that signaled the end of their marriage. Still, they maintained the image of an amicable couple for their online audience, even as the tension between them grew. Avery was determined to make a clean break, but as she navigated the final stages of her marriage, she couldn't help but feel a sense of loss, not for the relationship, but for the family unit that once was. She would never be the same, but she was hopeful for a future where she could live more authentically. On the morning of July 28, 2023, Avery's day began just like any other. She woke early, savoring her usual cup of coffee and spending time journaling, a practice that helped her center herself and set her intentions for the day. She showered her son, Carter, with love and affection, the two sharing a quiet morning together before the day's activities began. Avery also spoke to her mother, Michelle, briefly over the phone. They discussed weekend plans, including the possibility of going to the movies. However, Avery mentioned that she couldn't make it that day because Jacob had to work. They agreed to meet at church the next day instead. That conversation would be the last one Avery ever had with her mother. After their phone call, Avery and Jacob got into a heated argument. While the details of the argument remain unclear, their young son, Carter, later testified that he heard his parents arguing in the bathroom. Carter couldn't understand the words they were saying, but he saw their feet under the door, a haunting image that would stay with him long after that day. After the argument, Jacob emerged from the bathroom and took care of Carter, dressing him and preparing food for him. About 2 hours later, Jacob asked Carter to check on his mother. When Carter entered the bathroom, he was confronted with a nightmare. His mother was lying unconscious on the floor, a plastic bag over her head. Panicking, Carter immediately ran to his father, who called for an ambulance. When paramedics arrived, Avery was found in critical condition and rushed to Central City Hospital. Her family received the heartbreaking news that Avery had no brain activity, and her blood circulation to the brain had stopped. However, for the first 6 hours, her family was not informed about the plastic bag, a detail that later raised suspicions about the true nature of the incident. In the days that followed, Jacob's actions began to raise more concerns. He visited their apartment multiple times after Avery was hospitalized, and his reasons for doing so remained unclear. Avery's mother, Michelle, began to feel uneasy, noticing Jacob's odd behavior and the inconsistencies in his story. 3 days later, on July 31st, 2023, Avery was officially declared dead at the age of 29. Her passing shocked not only her family, but also her thousands of social media followers. A young mother, a thriving entrepreneur, and a beloved influencer, taken far too soon under mysterious circumstances. Initially, the police investigation pointed to suicide, with the presence of the plastic bag and the lack of obvious signs of struggle supporting that theory. However, Michelle rejected this conclusion, certain that her daughter would never take her own life, especially with 2 children to care for. Determined to uncover the truth, Michelle began her own investigation, closely examining the facts and piecing together details that the authorities had overlooked. Michelle's suspicions grew as she noticed key inconsistencies in the investigation, including Jacob's strange behavior in the hospital and the timing of Avery's divorce filing. She also found it suspicious that Jacob had repeatedly visited their apartment after the incident. When new evidence surfaced, such as bruises on Avery's body and an unexplained cut on her thigh, Michelle's resolve to find justice for her daughter only strengthened. Despite facing numerous setbacks, including a court injunction that prevented her from posting about the case publicly, Michelle kept pushing forward. Her persistence eventually paid off when new evidence emerged: fingerprints on the plastic bag and tape. These prints didn't belong to Avery, but matched Jacob's. Michelle confronted Jacob with the evidence. In a tense meeting, Jacob finally confessed. He admitted that, in the heat of an argument, he had strangled Avery and then tried to cover up his crime by placing the plastic bag over her head. He even prepared lunch for their son before sending Carter to check on his mother. This confession forced the police to reopen the case. After a thorough re-examination of the evidence, Avery's death was reclassified from suicide to murder. On September 20th, 2024, Jacob Howard was arrested in Houston, Texas, where he had relocated after Avery's death. He was extradited to Kentucky and charged with reckless homicide, tampering with evidence, and giving false testimony. His arrest marked a victory for Michelle, who had tirelessly fought for justice. Jacob's trial captured widespread public attention. The prosecution presented strong evidence, including Jacob's confession and testimony from their son, Carter. The defense attempted to frame Avery's death as an accidental tragedy, but the jury found Jacob guilty of all charges. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison, with additional time for tampering with evidence. While Michelle found some relief in the verdict, the pain of losing her daughter could never be fully erased. Her fight for justice had been long and grueling, but she had succeeded in uncovering the truth. In the aftermath, Michelle continued raising her grandchildren, working to create the Healing Hearts Center, a facility dedicated to supporting families affected by violent crimes. Avery's case highlighted the hidden dangers of the online personas many create and the need for thorough investigations in suspicious deaths. Jacob's arrest was just the beginning of a lengthy legal process. But for Michelle, it was a confirmation of her suspicions and a testament to the power of a mother's determination. Avery's legacy lives on through her children, her work, and the countless lives she touched with her message of hope and resilience. Her story serves as a reminder of the importance of seeking truth, fighting for justice, and never giving up, no matter how difficult the journey may be.